Hi everybody, welcome to Season 3, Episode 17 of The Hard Truth Inside the Football Industry Podcast with me, Philip Ideson, and Darragh McAnthony, Chairman, co-owner of Peterborough United. And Darragh, we missed last week doing the podcast. You were travelling, you're back in the UK. What's the plan for the next...
Well, listen, first of all, we shouldn't be doing it because we got accused last week that we only do it when we win. So people must have missed...
Should be taking another break.
People must have missed the 30 episodes last year in the championship, you know, when we did like episodes. No, obviously last week I was traveling, you've business on, you know, it's a cup kind of week and you know, but yeah, I mean, obviously we try and do every week when we can, but family business and you know, whenever it's allowed. But what's it been like since I last spoke to you? So we were dumped out about
Chelsea, Shrewsbury, Barnsley.
Yeah, destroyed by the Chelsea 17-year-olds. Shrewsbury obviously beat us comfortably at their place. I say comfortably, we missed like fucking a heap of chances the second half, but the game was over at half-time. It was 3-1. So we're out about cups. So I don't want to mention the word, you like to make money out of cups, because we'll be accused of we're in trouble again financially, and we need it. Every club at our level needs cup runs.
Yeah. And
we obviously wanted to win the EFL trophy, and we wanted to get to the third, fourth round of the FA Cup. They were like massive targets. So out about cups by November. So I've come over. We're obviously, you know, we've lost a couple in a row in the league, and then we play Barnsley on Friday. So you're kind of expecting a reaction.
Yeah.
And how can I describe Barnsley on Friday? We were outplayed. We were outcoached. We were outpressed. They should have been 3 up in the first 20 minutes. We got an equaliser in the 20th minute. And you thought, okay, here we go. Nothing in until half-time. You think, okay, come out after half-time. We're on our patch. You know, Friday night under the lights, let's do the business. Nope, didn't have a wank in us. Barnsley scored. They scored from 2 set pieces. They could have scored from 4. And both goals came from like shots outside the box with nobody closing down the shots. It was just so apoplectic. And then the worst part was, I think there was half an hour left in the game when they scored. And I don't think we had a shot on goal. I actually left in the 85th minute. I thought we'd be playing for the next 2 hours here and we won't have a shot. So really frustrating. And I'll tell you what was really frustrating, because although Barnsley came down with us last summer, you know, they sold 5 or 6 of their best players.
Yeah.
You know, they did probably what I should have done in the bloody summer, but I kept everyone. You know, they sold their best players. They had a bit of a rebuild. It didn't happen until August. Their manager who came in from Cheltenham, very good manager, they signed a lot of players late. So their fans were probably thinking, geez, this could take us a while to get up to speed. We might be quite, you know, the favourites here because of losing our best players. And then they come to our place with a team that's probably only been together 4 months. And yeah, I felt they absolutely deserved the win. I know some people will say there was nothing in the game. I disagree. Barnsley should have been out of sight.
Yeah.
Compared to us, who kept all our players, you know, improved the squad, spent money, lost one player, Sammy Schmoddix. And it's frustrating. I'm really, really frustrated. Like, so, and I know the fans are frustrated. And you know, and there was the stuff on social media the next day. I'm in the dressing room. I was on the A1 by the 85th minute of the game, steaming back to London. Because, you know, when things don't go well, I'm not in good form. I'm not going to hang around after a game. Good things don't happen. I'll end up arguing with Barry. I'll end up arguing with whoever. I'll never go into the dressing room, but it's just best to get in the car and go.
Your mindset is not, you want to be on your own.
Yeah. So the idea that I'm in the dressing room, I'm really surprised by the person who posted it, because, you know, usually they wouldn't post nonsense like that, but that's a bit indicative of what's going on at the moment. Everyone is losing their collective minds over lots of stuff that's been said, not said, imagining things, and it's frustrating. But from a performance perspective, really, really disappointed in my players. You know, really disappointed because, and then you're thinking, and I'm thinking since Friday, you know, what more could I have done since the summer? And everyone can go on about recruitment. I'm sick of hearing that. That's just everyone's favorite go-to. And you don't look at Barnsley, look at us. So don't want to hear about that. Because we've got a squad that's come down from the champ. Yes, we were relegated. We're still a good team. Majority of players won promotion 2 years ago. You know, we've got younger players who are better. We've made additions. You know, we're stacked everywhere. You know, yes, we've had illness and injuries, but we have good numbers everywhere. You know, decent players. You know, and decent players of that ilk, regardless of recruitment, shouldn't be losing 9 games in the league before Christmas. Never mind at the start of December.
Yeah.
So we have the most expensive coaching staff I've ever assembled to the point where I did it on purpose because it was give us this, give us this, give us this, and everything will improve the player.
You wanted no stone left unturned to get yourself back up to the championship.
Yeah, and we did that. We invested really well in the infrastructure off the pitch. We've given the players everything. We spend a fortune when they go away from home, and beds, night beds, day beds. The training ground, the chef now has an assistant. Sports science staff, we got staff everywhere. And I'm thinking they're spoiled. They're spoiled. Mm-hmm. Where's the hunger? Where's the eye of the tiger? And everyone's going to go, you shouldn't say this on the podcast. No, I'm telling the truth, because I keep getting thrown at me. Well, talking to the fans, whatever else. Well, this is the truth. And this isn't something I would not say to the players or the management staff. You're damn right I would. I'm down there all week at the training ground, Tuesday onwards. So now I'm thinking, the hunger's not there. You got players who should absolutely dominate at this level are playing way below their level. Why? Because they feel they belong in the championship. Well, you're not there yet. Mm-hmm. So you need to go back and climb the mountain again. And sometimes I've said this before in business. You get to the top of the mountain, you fall back down. It's tougher to go back up. Yeah. And maybe some of the players are showing that.
You don't have to hunger so much the second time around.
Well, they're on good wages. It's a well assembled squad with good wages. They're well off. They do okay. And we're certainly not getting value for money in any facet at the moment. And we can talk about, well, it's streaky and whatever. Yeah, they've lost 5 and 6, and they lost 6 in a row earlier on. But to be out of the cups, to be that abject on a Friday night at home, forget about the table where we are. No. To be talking about, well, you're going to Ipswich and, can you cause an upset? Like, with all due respect, of course, Ipswich are favourites to win. Mm-hmm. And the way we're playing at the moment, we show up like that, they will win. But with our squad, with our player, whatever, we should never go into any game thinking about, oh, we're going to upset the opposition.
Yeah, you used to be in the front foot.
Yeah, I don't know what the mindset is, and I don't know where it's come from or what the players are thinking, whatever else. But really, we're Peterborough United. We always do well at this level. We've got a lot of good players, tremendous young players. We should go into every game, not being arrogant, not thinking you're going to walk over teams, but we're on the front foot. We're going to attack them. We're going to score goals. We're going to win games. So something has to change mindset-wise. Something has to change. They have to wake up and smell the coffee. Because if people look at Friday and think, oh, that was a nothing game, well, then they're living in fucking cloud cuckoo land. Wake the fuck up. And that goes to everybody. Wake up. Otherwise it's done. And that's the reality of the situation. And people talk about, well, you can change it in January and you recruit, you can do this, you do whatever else. No. January is not a time you make lots of signings, you rebuild. It never goes well when you do it. I think we won promotion 2 years ago. We didn't sign anyone in the January. And I go back to all the previous ones. It was 1, maybe 2 maximum.
You're filling gaps.
Yeah. The idea you're going to go out and fix all your problems. No. The people at work who get paid really well should fix the problems. That's their job. The players need to fix the problems. The captain of the squad should be dragging that lot in on Saturday morning and asking a question to every one of them, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I doubt that happened. I'm sure they were probably all off at the weekend again. So, but that should be happening. That's high standards. That's what I'd expect. If I was the captain, I'd be doing that. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. That's who I am as a leader, accountability.
I was going to say it's holding people accountable to a higher level.
Accountability. Cut out the excuses, cut out the moaning, cut out the, well, I might get a move or I might do this. Do your fucking job. Do your job. From 1 to 11, do your job. Yes, you can blame management, coaches and tactical stuff and substitutions, but 11 people are on the pitch paid to do a job, paid really well. At a time right now where people are struggling, at a time right now where there's a lot of people financially in trouble, can't put the heating on. These players are paid thousands of pounds per week. Do your job, and Barnsley as an example would be that team didn't know each other 3.5, 4 months ago. Our team's known each other for nearly 2 years. We look like strangers on Friday. They look like they've been together 3 years. That shows you what can be done. That the answer isn't always in go sign 10 players, go sign 5 players. That's just good accountability, good coaching, good togetherness. So I keep getting told it's a great group. Well, that's great, but show us you're a great group. Stop with this. You know what I mean? You're playing in front of your fans. Try a leg. You go 1-0 down, who cares? Where's the old spirit? 2-0 down, who cares? We win 3-2. Where's that gone? So there's a bit of that going on. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to relay this. By the time this podcast will come out on Wednesday, I'll have been down there Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'll relay this to everyone to remind them of their duty as employees of Peterborough United, what's expected of them, you know, and ask them for value for money for what the club and me are paying, because that's unacceptable, you know, and it's maybe far too much, you know, spoiled rotten. It's like my children sometimes. I've overspoiled them.
Yeah.
And I feel maybe, you know, I agreed to everything, gave them everything, and I probably shouldn't have. So maybe it's time to get them hungry. Maybe it's time to take some toys away.
Take their iPads, block their iPads for a couple of weeks.
No, you know, why spend $5,000 on an away trip if that's what you're going to get?
Yeah.
So maybe it's time they do what lots of other football clubs do and travel without any beds.
Yeah.
Yeah, without the 5-star lunch, you know, without taking 28 staff members. You know, maybe it's time to go back to basics, remind them what it was like where they came from, you know? So like I said, maybe daddy's got to take the toys away, because I'm not going to continue watching that and allow that. So enough's enough.
You said at the beginning about you were out coached on Friday.
Sure.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I would ask my manager. That's he can defend that, and I don't want to create the headlines here and if Alan's listening, whatever else. You know, I'm not sacking my manager.
Right.
Am I angry with him? And of course I am. We've just lost a lot of games. We've been knocked out of the cups. It would be the same any manager, Darren Ferguson, whoever. You know, and sometimes you're out coached, just like sometimes he will, or a lot of the time, out coach other coaches. Yeah. I thought on Friday night we were out coached. I thought Barnsley had an answer for everything we tried. I thought Barnsley's fullbacks handle our wide players well. They forced us into a plan B and we didn't have one. You know, I felt Barnsley, their set pieces were unbelievable. I'm jealous. Like, you know, I thought that would be us this season. And our set pieces both ways, yeah. But Barnsley they could have scored from every set play. No word of a lie. They scored from 2, and then they missed 2 headers from 5 yards out, 3 headers on 2 other set plays. That's just from set plays.
Yeah.
You know, when they won the ball, they kept the ball up the pitch. When we were attacking them out wide, they won the one-on-one battles and stopped the crosses into the box. Reverse everything. We didn't do any of that. They did that. When they take a throw in, it tends to go to their player. You know, we're taking throw-ins and throwing it straight to them. When I say out-coached, outplayed, call it out-owned. Whatever you want to call it, none of us on Friday were good enough. And if someone's going to quote me in all of this, quote that bit. None of us, including me, were good enough on Friday. And I can understand when fans get angry. I can understand the booing. I get it. You have to set the tempo for your fans. And when you go 1-0 down with 30 minutes to go and you don't have a wank in you and you don't have a shot, particularly after you've had all week to prepare after going out of 2 cups, and I hope they prepared every day all week, and that is what you respond with in front of your fans when you haven't been at home for 5 weeks in a league game and you got your chance, you got good home form. That's not good enough. So
you want something to get behind as a fan. I mean, it's a chicken and an egg when people say, well, you know, the fans, I don't want the fans to turn on me or boo or anything. But as a fan, you just want to feel as though that everyone's giving 100%.
Be at it. Be at it. Like, be at it. Like I just said, you've lost in the 2 cups. Your fans expect you to win at home. You've not been great away from home. Be at it. And our players weren't at it. And you can ask them that yourself. You know, they were outpressed, outplayed. We were out-owned, out-coached, the whole shebang. Fair play, Barnsley deserved it. So that's the end of that. So that can't happen. And we're going to Ipswich. Yes, they're one of the best teams in the league, like we should have been. But, you know, I think the last couple of times we went there, we beat them.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I know people's confidence will be lacking because of, you know, I think they had a bit of a dodgy result against Fleetwood or whatever else. Fleetwood, I think, drew with them the other night. But, you know, if we're going to win promotion from this league or even talk about promotion, you have to eventually go and win at places like Ipswich. You have to go and win at places like Plymouth. You have to go and win at places like Sheffield Wednesday. You're not going to get out of this league unless you do it. Last time we got promoted, we won at Hull away. We won at Wigan away. We won at these places. You have to go and do it. Now, can we do it? Yeah, of course. The players are there. They were there before, but they have to show up. As do the management staff. Everyone has to be on it. Has to be good on the pitch, good off the pitch, from 0 to 90 plus minutes. That's what it's got to be. If we're not, Ipswich will comfortably beat us. So we have to show some bollocks about us now. That's the challenge, you know, and we're not going to fix it with 10 signings in January. That's not going to happen. Like, you know, do your fucking jobs and go and win some football games.
Now, does it change how you're thinking about January?
No.
So as you're approaching and you're thinking about January, what's kind of going into your mindset of the job to be done?
Probably in January, if I was to guess what does the team need, and people will probably disagree, we need, due to the constant injuries, the issues, and whatever else, we need some adjustments at left back and right back, as in backup, and move some of the other players that were in there to help out, to make room wage-wise with the salary cap. So Dan Butler needs competition that's fit, and Joe Ward needs some competition as well. So that's what we probably need. Do we need more strikers? No. Do we need more wide players? No. Because we've shown when we're on it, we've got some of the best in the league.
Yeah.
Central defence, I got 6 central defenders. You know, in midfield, I got, you know, Jandor Fuchs, I got Jack Taylor, I got Harrison Burrows up until the last game's been brilliant in there. So I'm not, you know, but we definitely in those fullback areas, you know, it hasn't quite happened since the summer up until now. The players we thought would step forward, and they've had injuries, they've had issues, they've had bans, they've had sicknesses. So we're going to need to get some competition in there and move some of those out as well. But I'm not, look, I look at it this way with promoted teams. When you get promoted and you get relegated, you have a season to go back up. Otherwise, you need to rebuild.
Yeah.
Because last time we came down years ago, we went straight back up. The following time we came down, we got into playoffs the following year, and then we kept a lot of the players, and then it petered out. And we should have done a full-on rebuild. And I've learned from that. And it took us then 7-8 years to go back up again. So, you know, we need, if this lot don't get promoted by the end of the season, then in the summer, yeah, there will be a bit of a mini rebuild.
Yeah.
You know, and that just has to happen. So you need a freshness. That's what you've got to do. When I say mini rebuild, probably, you know, 7-8 changes to the squad. You know, but that won't happen in January. No. So, you know, again, the baby doesn't go out with the bathwater, you know, on your transfer plans, on everything else. You just can't keep every transfer window, pull a Steve Evans and sign 20 players. Well done to him at Stevenage, but you just can't keep doing that.
So I want to touch on a couple of other things beyond the game at the weekend, because there's, well, actually one of the things, let's start with, well, I'm not sure if it's a positive for a club, but it's a positive for the individuals, probably for their career. Matthew Etherington and Simon Davies joined Crawley as their management team a week or so ago.
Yeah. I look, they haven't loved me for a while, only because I think they were upset that they probably didn't get the job longer when Fergie left. You know, try and make an impression. I think they really fancied their chances. And Grant came in the following week, and they only got one game. But I've so much respect for both of them. Barry brought them back to the club. They've done nothing but win. They won league titles at 18s level, first titles for years. They took us to the semi-finals of the Premier League Under 21 Cup. We've competed. They've been brilliant. They helped out with Darragh in the promotion season, in between running the 21s and stepping into the first team squad. You know, I've nothing but good things to say about them, but I also knew deep down they weren't going to be staying with us in the summer. Yeah. I knew it because Maddie was desperate to become a manager, and him and Simon felt at the time was right. Barry rang me last week and said, look, Crawley are in. Do you want to ask for compensation? And I said, no. Because of what they've done for us, they deserve to go to Crawley. They deserve a shot at the title. Whether it works out at Crawley, I don't know. But I know Baz and me have thrown their names in the hat at other clubs.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see what they do next. We have been, and I know I read some comments from fans going, oh, this is typical what's going on at the club. We can't stand in the way of people bettering themselves. You know, what are you meant to say to the guys running the 21s? There's no vacancy in the first team. So they want to go and manage a football league club. What are we meant to do? Hold them back? Do I keep them here till next summer and stop them going to a club in League Two? Can't do that. Dan Ashworth came through our ranks. A.D. Boothroyd came through our ranks. You know, coaching, I think 2 of the coaches in the 20s and the under 19s in England came through our ranks. What am I meant to do? Stop these people? That's what it's about. Clubs at our level, you know, they give people an opportunity. And those people can go on and earn the big money in Premier League or at international level. That's what we do. When we're a Premier League club, mate, maybe we'll stop that and they stay with us. What are you laughing?
No, I mean, I agree that, you know, anyone who's listening in their own career, if they felt that they deserved an opportunity for a promotion and they got the opportunity for promotion, who would say no to that opportunity? And who would want their employer, should they be under contract, to say no to them to do that? It's, I think people think when football comes in, we tend to think differently sometimes.
Well, the one thing, you'll hear a lot of people talk shit about me occasionally, but you talk to ex-players, ex-managers, ex-whatever else. The one thing I don't do is stand in people's way. Yeah. We'll do what's right for the club. We'll get you a move. We'll do what's right for the club if you're a coach, and we'll also help get you to move. That was the right thing for the club for them to go to Crawley. I also know they'll take a couple of our younger players in January and give them league football experience and do bloody well there. So that's also going to do us well. And if they have a great career, no doubt in my mind they could end up at a top club in the Champ, even the Prem. Then they do favours for us. That's the way it should work. That is the way it should work.
And you've benefited from them while they are in that role because of the development that they've been doing with the R21s, R23s.
Nothing but great things to say about them. Nothing but great things. They've done a terrific job, and a job backed up with success. And they always say at 21 and 18 level, it's not about trophies, it's about player progression. You're absolutely right, it is. But it helps when you've won some 18s titles. It helps when you bring players through into the first team. There's a lot of young players at our club who are very thankful to Simon and Matty, the job they've done.
So how do you go about replacing them?
Well, the great news there is we've got some very good coaches inside the club, and we're stepping a couple up.
Yeah.
One that's previously been at Man City, another one that was also at Man City that was with us before. They're going to take the reins to the end of the season. We're going to see how they go for 5 or 6 months. This is what we like to do, is promote from within, and then we'll make a decision in the summer if they have a good 4 or 5 months and they impress us. So we're really excited about that as well. Look, our 18s are doing really well. We had a chance on Saturday to go top of our league, by the way. You do know we've gone up in category and academy. You do know the level of teams we're now playing. And our 18s, who's probably, the 16s are probably the better group, but the 18s have done incredibly well. So everything like in the academy is how can I say this? Bar getting dumped out of the cup, and we seem to have had a fucking nightmare in the cups this season, are doing very well. Yeah. Like, that is our future, is our academy. And I Jason's got me sold on that for a couple of years now and buying into it. And he's absolutely right. That is the future for our football club, for sustainability, to be a really, really competent top 30 club in the UK, is having a brilliant academy. And we're all in on that.
Yeah, and that just attracts, when you're looking at attracting them at 14, 15, or even younger than that, it's going to help you then attract even better talent to run through that.
All the way. Program. All the way. Like from our 11s onwards, we've got some tremendous talent. So let's see how Sems does now at the 21s. He's been around our club before. He went off to Man City. He coaches with England. Let's see. But I think he'll do very well. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, we're good there.
Now, the other thing I want to touch on, because it was something that you brought up on I think an Instagram video this week, and there's been a lot of malicious rumors going around the club. I think started on message boards around financial health and loans and debts and things like that. And I just wonder if you could address those a little bit.
Where do you want me to start? Because it's everywhere.
Well, so let's start with the
salacious. I mean, I don't like threatening people legally, and I let a lot of stuff go. But some stuff you can't let go, because you hurt the football club, you hurt the people at the football club. You hurt us when we try and do business. I don't know what the agenda is. You have people who will offer us money for players thinking we're in trouble, and it's a lot less than the players are worth. That doesn't do the club any good. So I was on Twitter the other night, and somebody from a local rival, a journalist posted, "Oh yeah, if they don't sell Ronnie Edwards, I'm hearing there's a fire sale and da-da-da." You can't post stuff like that. That's irresponsible. Like, as a journalist, you can't do that. Like I called out Ben earlier from the Peterborough Telegraph for posting about me being in the dressing room on Friday night when I was halfway up the A1. And he'll learn from that as a young journalist, but it's irresponsible. You can't post stuff. So you come and ask me for a comment if you want, fine. You might get one, you might not. But you can't post stuff without facts. So somebody going on a message board where this journalist picked it all up from, and reading, where you got 30, 40 people, majority have got an agenda, and maybe you're getting fed stuff that's incorrect for a certain reason, without coming to me, it blew my fucking mind. I didn't read that message board purposely, but I've sent it to the lawyers to read it, because I'm fed up. I saw bits and pieces come out. Jason spoke to Alan Swan in detail, which was a great article explaining everything. I'm now next week going to meet all the fans groups, because I keep getting, the communication, the this, the that. I spoke to one of the lead of the fans groups yesterday about some of the stuff he posted. He's emailed me for 17 years over anything he needed. And on this occasion, twice he didn't. He's gone ahead and posted stuff. He's put stuff on Twitter. And I just said, what gives? Like, what's going on here? What's the MO? I don't understand. You come to me over stuff a lot, less than that. But you didn't bother coming to me about any of that. So that kind of really irked me. And I said, I'll see you next week. And I'll see. And he said it was a lack of communication. I said, okay. I said, 100 days ago, I did a fans forum. I had probably the biggest anti-DMAC fan on our podcast. We speak about the club every week on our podcast. I do answers on Twitter. I do videos on Instagram. I haven't done any the last 4 or 5 weeks. I've been kind of busy with my son and stuff in America. I think Randy, when he was over, went for a beer. He saw some of the fans groups. How much communication are we meant to? Should I be giving my phone number out to everyone? I'm just, at what point is it overkill?
Yeah.
Or I understand fans want answers, but I'm giving answers. I talk about it. You ask me stuff in the podcast. People can write in every week with questions they have, and we answer them. We don't throw them in the bin. We address them. So I just said, okay, fine. I'll meet the owners group. I'll meet the fans groups next week. So I'm going to meet the 3 fans groups, and they can bring all their questions, and I'll answer every question. Then I'll say to them, does that give me a couple of months before I'm dragged in front of everyone again to deal with more salacious nonsense is put out there? I don't know what to say, Phil. Words like administration, words like whatever. We have debt like everyone else. Like this journalist posted on Twitter, it was 15 or 20 million debt. It changes every day. And our accounts will be updated and show we don't have more than 10 million quid in debt. Everyone's freaking out about the bond. The bond is 2.5 million quid, payable in 5 years. 5 years' time, that's half a player sale. We pay the percentage every year, as we're meant to. Yeah. That's not late. Anyone who doesn't like that, or maybe doesn't want to be in the bond, maybe they can come out of the bond if they want. I don't know what the terms are if they don't like it anymore. But if you're getting your 8% or whatever percentages we pay, and we're paying it on time, well, what's the issue here? Why are people worried about a bond? There's a little bit of debt to Jason and Randy's company, which is getting addressed and paid in January. No probs. Me and Jason have already sorted the money for that. As Jason's mentioned in his article, the amount that lifts any charge regards to the club. What else is in there? Oh, debt owed to me, debt owed to Jason and Randy. People go, what if they call it in? What if DMAC, when he leaves, calls it in? Just an FYI for everyone, we can't do that. I can't just call in 5 million quid's worth of debt and put the club into administration. I don't have a charge on the club. Right. Neither does Jason, neither does Randy. So we can't do that. I don't know where people think that can happen. So that can't happen. Who else do we owe? We don't owe money to the tax man. We don't owe money to the VAT man. And we don't owe wages. We pay them on time. Me and Jason put a load of dough in at the end of October. We even went down the route of we had a vote, and we went through the process of saying, look, instead of piling more debt in the club, we'll convert that into equity. Yeah. It's because I saw the fans in the summer moaning about how much debt there was in the club. It was my idea as well to say, well, we can convert, instead of having debt there, let's put it in as equity and more share capital or whatever else. Let's do it that way. And that was all amenable and agreeable. And that's something we're going through the process. And I'm going to write to we have like 0.1% of shareholders of the club, updating them to that. But that's a good thing, by the way. That's not a negative thing. So me, my missus, Jason, his missus, I believe, other parts, put money in, to cover the club till January, as was always going to be expected. When you get to a season every summer, just to explain this to people, you always have a deficit. And I wrote about the deficit in the summer. And your first thing is, how do we clear the deficit? If we don't sell a player, if we don't have a cup run, that's going to come down to the owners, right? Or external debt or whatever it might be. So that's our responsibility as owners. It always is. Usually we'll either sell a player, we'll have a good cup run. Like last year, we made like £1 million in the FA Cup. Some of those things didn't happen. So, okay, come October time, we know what the deficit is till January. It's 3 months. We come up with the money. And that's what we do. We then obviously have, debt to other creditors. Okay, some of it's at extortionate interest rates, like you call it loan shark interest rates. I, for one, am fed up with the club paying that kind of money because it's a waste of money. Yeah. So you rearrange the debt at much lower interest rates, at much that benefits the football club in the long term. But this idea that we owe 15 and 20 million, we owe less than 10 million. I think it's even a lot less than that. And by the end of January, it'll be, probably no more than 5 million by the end of January. So we're not winning football games. We have players, we have assets worth a lot more money. So this talk of administration and this, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know what the agenda is. I don't know what the MO is, but no, that's not happening. Why would me, Jason, allow our football club, get into that kind of situation? Yeah. That doesn't benefit us. That doesn't benefit anyone at the football club. So there's a lot of rumours, a lot of gossip mongering, there's agendas, there's third parties involved and whatever. I don't want to go into all of that. There's no point in going into all of that. The facts for the fans to concentrate on: pay all our bills on time. We've got the debt under control. We're shitting the bed on the football pitch. We need that. So stop worrying about stuff off the field when after 17 years, I've never given you a moment's of worry or concern that you need to think like that. Never. And as long as I'm here, you know, I would do everything within my body to keep this football club running smoothly. And to the point where, and I don't, again, another headline here or whatever else, but, you know, I won't be leaving in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I won't be leaving is Jason reached out to me around that time, the end of October, when we were talking about the future and da-da-da-da-da. And he was like, I understand you want downtime, you got college stuff, you got whatever else. You know, let's find a way, you know, for you to do that, still, you know, do your task at the football club and whatever else, but maybe you don't need to be there for 3 months or 2 months or whatever, and try and weigh it up. My missus said the same, like, you know, don't do this. You know, you need to stay involved. You know, this is what drives you. And I think she'd hate to see me not be involved in football because it makes me as a person. And Jason as well wants to buy other football clubs, and he doesn't want to do it without me being involved.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really funny. That was a conversation I was having on speakerphone, and my missus was in the car. We were driving our kids at like mini prom, and she was like, you know, you should be going. Yeah, you should be saying, of course, I'll stay on, because he was asking the question. So that was around the time we were working out money to put in and whatever else. So, you know, not that that's a big shocker. It's not will he, won't he, or whatever. I'm not looking for drama. I'm not looking for attention. I get the DMAC out crowd will hate that fucking last 2 seconds I've just spoke about, you know, staying on. So it's all systems go. You know, we've so much to be thankful for. It's like we're in Thanksgiving. We've so much to be look forward to. Yes, we got debts. Yes, we have to sort out lots of stuff, make ourselves a lot more efficient, improve a lot of stuff behind the scenes of the club, you know, get our expenses down because they got out of control in the championship, but not to the point where we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in trouble. Will we sell players in January? Probably. Will it be a fire sale? No. We'll probably sell 1 player, 2 maximum. Players on the periphery will go on loan or get sold at manager that doesn't want. We'll bring players in. The summer, we don't go up, we'll have a rebuild. But again, it's not a fire sale.
Yeah.
We don't fire sale. Me and Barry Fry have never fire sold any player and never will. It's not what we're about. We've got a lot of talent at the club. We're just not getting the best out of them at the moment. So, you know, Jason's getting stuck in now. We're talking about, obviously, the new stadium. That is obviously something that's on the horizon. But also we're talking about, to the council, to the authorities, about land near the training ground to expand the academy out, to get better pitches. Why would we be having those conversations, designing new facilities at the training ground? Why would we be doing that? You know what I mean? If we're going into administration next week. I mean, I don't get it, Phil. I don't know. I guess, you know, I've been probably lucky in 17 years. A lot of this stuff stayed away from my door, you know, and unfortunately it just seems to have all, you know, the last few months hit.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, people say, you know, you weren't doing well in the champ, you were losing and it was quiet. And yeah, but it's the championship. A club our size are going to lose a lot of games. I don't expect us to lose a lot of games in League One.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds like maybe a bit of an arrogant mindset, but with the quality of player we have, I don't expect us to lose the amount of games we have.
Yeah.
League One championship, yes, you know, up and down, up and down, up and down, tough league. League One, no. You read that. You read the message boards.
Yeah, I read the message boards as well.
That was in there.
I'm sorry?
Is there anything on there that you want to ask me?
No, it was mostly around the administration. I mean, my opinion is, as a semi-outsider, but obviously I see that everything that you do is with the club at heart, you know, behind the scenes. I mean, I can see there's obviously, and it's no secret because it's been out there in the press around Randy and Jason not working together. There's, you know, the relegation, there's the poor form, there's, you know, talked before about the difference in cost structure of a League One club versus a Championship club. So there's all these things that are obviously out there, but then people putting 2 and 2 together and making 5.
Yeah, it played a big part in my decision in the summer about when there was obviously a breakdown, but a breaking up of partnership between them. That kind of made my mind up in July that I needed to be out of here. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I guess what you'll find in life is not all partners are going to be together forever. Not all partners are going to be on the same page.
Yeah.
All I can say is, I don't want to talk about my relationship with Randy. I don't want to talk about my relationship with Jason. All I can say is my only interest is the well-being of the football club. There's no conflict of interest on my part. All right. I can speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Jason can do the same. Randy can do the same. I am happy to put my own money into the football club. Have been, always done so. No way would I ever put this football club in administration. Ever. No way would I allow anyone else to pull that maneuver in. Mm-hmm. Not a chance. That has to be as strong for the fans as needed to be heard. So, you know, I would sell my last watch before that football club would go into administration. Not a chance. You know, again, I'm sure Jason feels the same. I'm sure if you ask Randy, he feels the same. But you have to ask them. I can't speak for them.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to put rumors out there, create more headlines on a forum or whatever else. You know, I'm trying to talk for me. It's not fair for me to talk to them. And yes, whilst it's not a walk in the park amongst ownership, whatever else, that doesn't matter to me. The football club's all that matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and making sure that that does well, that grows, you know, that the employees are looked after, you know, and that's where I come in. And that's all I care about. So people can go on about, you know, the other day, the tweet, you know, you're a devil, you need to leave, you're this, you're whatever else. Well, no, if you really knew, actually, you need me at Peterborough United.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and everything I bring to the table, because it's all upside. You know, I don't bring any negatives to the football club. I don't bring baggage. You know, I've been around a long time, you know, and I work my arse off for the club. I do. And I'll continue to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Me storming out of a game 5 minutes to go will tell you I'm still as passionate.
Just from the passion, right?
If I sat there smiling and laughing
Yeah.
for the 95th minute of us losing again, you'd know there's a fucking problem. If I went out socializing after a game or was having beers with people after the game, you'd know there's an issue. That really deep down, I'm not bleeding blue.
Mm-hmm.
But I was bleeding blue all over my fucking Range Rover on the way back up the A1. You just asked Rob, because I kicked the shit out of every inch of that car where he sat there. you know, fucking. So yeah, I hurt my knuckles, you know, from smashing the door so much. So I care, and I know some fans don't like me. Appreciate that. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to say that, but my intentions are only good. And like me or love me, I'm all you got.
Mm.
That's it, you know. You know, and again, the other guys can speak for themselves. And I'll talk to the fans groups, and I'll tell people, and I'm sure they will. And you can ask them the same questions, and they'll answer them. And I would imagine they'll answer them pretty much along the way I've answered them as well. So my only duty of care is to Peterborough. Nothing gets in the way of that. Nothing conflicts with that. It's making sure Peterborough is doing well. And that's this week what I'll be doing. Starting tomorrow morning to the end of the week, I'll be working my nuts off.
And it's time to get some points on the board so that, you know, there is not this vacuum to fill of, you know, everyone being pissed off that you've lost. And this is how it perpetuates itself.
The best way to kill unhappiness, dissent, negativity, moaning, and whatever else is win some games.
Yeah.
So they have to win some games. Do your job. Go win some games. You know, go and you know, no matter who you're playing, put a performance in. Let your fans know that you've given it everything you've got. Even in a horrible run, come out of the horrible run and win a few games in a row. We've got a busy December coming up. Let's put ourselves in a good position for January. And by doing that, we have to win some games. So there, let's move on to Bradford.
Yeah, it'd be nice for us to win some games too. You know,
Are you on a bad run?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't play Cup week because we'd been knocked out of the Cup, but we talked last time on the pod about losing a big game at home to Northampton, and I forget what the score was now, but it was something like 3-1. They kind of took us to the cleaners. We had Leyton Orient away at the weekend, where you think, you know, they've had some time off, they've had time to reset, regroup, and 3-0. And, you know, it's a game where first 15, 20 minutes we matched them. First goal, probably offside, but they scored pretty soon thereafter, which was another one of these, you said set pieces for Barnsley. Perfectly worked set piece. They dragged us all over the place, left a big gap for someone on the end of the box, and he scored a worldie. And at that point, game over. So
Are you how's your record against the better teams?
It's not great. And well, when I look, let's have a look at the table and see who's up there at the moment.
I know Posh have lost to 6 of the top 8.
Yeah.
You know, that pisses me off as well.
I mean, we beat Stevenage. We lost to Barrow, beat Mansfield, beat Salford. I mean, it's kind of hit and miss. Yeah.
Okay. Orient are a good side. Probably going to win the league.
Yeah.
You know, 3-0 obviously. Was that flattering? Was that just about right?
It may be a little flattering in the end because, you know, their third was the last couple of minutes when you're throwing everything to it. But I mean, they deserve to win.
Okay, so you've had a couple of shit results.
Yeah.
Do you fear that turning into 4 or 5?
Well, we've got Gillingham away on
Okay.
Saturday, so that's an opportunity. Always a banana skin when you play, and it's incredible that Gillingham are second bottom.
Can't believe that.
So based on form, it's an opportunity for us to right the ship. It's away as well, which I know we lost away on Saturday, but we've typically been okay on the road. So we'll see. I mean, we're still in the playoffs. A lot of doom and gloom, but it's only 2 defeats. Before that it was 2 wins. So basically the last 6 have been 2 wins, 2 defeats, 2 draws.
Okay, milky. Nothing to worry about, nothing to get excited about. So
right,
you beat Gillingham, it's 3 wins and 7.
Yeah.
I
think there's, we're just not, we haven't fixed the problems that we had at the start of the season yet, which is lack of creativity, lack of tempo. We've had a centre half who's been out for a few weeks, and I don't really know how long he's out for, called Romney Critchlow, who is kind of central to the playing out from the back. And when you take him out and put players in that really don't have the same beat, it creates a problem at the back because people start rushing and panicking.
Yeah. Well, I'm fucking glad you didn't sign Efren Mason-Clark. He's been our best player the last 5 weeks, and now I value him at about 5 million quid.
Yeah, we missed that one.
And I'm gutted you didn't sign Idris Kanu, because now he's scoring goals. He's got like 5 and 8 for Barnet.
Has he? I didn't see how he's been doing for Barnet.
One thing he was always missing was goals, because he would play a lot higher. And again, he was like someone I know, obviously you guys were in for, but it was the package or whatever else. But he's a creative player. You know what I mean? But you're going to obviously have to do business in January, right?
Yeah, we'll be doing business in January. And I don't know whether it's a formation or I think that Andy Cook is both a blessing and a curse. Andy Cook scoring the goals is a blessing because, that's unexpected, the amount of goals he did score. But on the other hand, is not the world's most mobile player, and you feel like you can't drop him. So there's not a lot of movement up there. So when you're not scoring, it doesn't look very good. And I think that's where we are. Maybe there's a bit of a formation change that's needed because the attacking players are there. Jamie Walker, who's just come, he played his first 20 minutes back from injury, so we'll get him back and hopefully he stays fit and healthy. I know you're pulling some eyebrows. He's had a dodgy track record, so there's a lot of ifs around that.
Player, but it's keeping him fit.
Yeah, so that's a big if, but it's a big.
Definitely an asset.
Exactly.
That's like a new signing if he stays fit.
Because we really haven't had a number 10. We've been, playing wide players in a number 10 role, and it's not really worked that much.
Yeah. So you're talking about basically what, 1-2 signings of that in
I think so. I mean, I think there was always the intention of, and again, there may be some players that go out on loan that didn't get the playing time that they wanted, or that get let go to free up some wages. Because that's what will happen with a big squad. But I don't think there's an intention to stand still, nor is there an intention to do wholesale changes, as you said before, which in past Januaries we've been panicking and doing wholesale changes.
Yeah, forget it. It's such a bad time to do business.
I mean, I know that from a club perspective, the goal was January, be thereabouts around the playoffs, and then build in January and have a push. And so, so far, even despite the last couple of defeats, that's where we are.
And Mark, we trust.
Yeah. I wonder sometimes, are we trying to play in a style that we just don't have the quality of the players for? I don't know if there's anything to that or not.
Yeah, I hear you. And I remember Gus Poyet years ago at Brighton in League One doing the same thing, and he got the best out of Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
He had players that were third division players playing like they were playing for Brazil in the 70s, or playing for Holland in the 70s, more like it. It was that sharp, incisive passing. Ask Swansea fans the way Russell Martin has them playing. When he was at MK Dons, he had them playing that way.
Mm-hmm.
Notts County, his ex-assistant, probably has them playing in Notts County that way. So good coaching can overcome everything. So I wouldn't buy into that. If Mark Hughes is as good as you think he is, and we think he is, he'll make those players better. Yeah. And that's what we spoke about at the start. You have to trust in your manager. I trust to bring in a very expensive management team because they'll make everything better. And they have to do that now. Yeah. And the answer is, well, not sign you 10 new players. Like, do your job.
Yeah.
Job. Show, vindicate why, you were brought here. Do your job. So that's the pressure on them now, I guess.
Yeah, and I have trust and faith still. I don't think that's wavered.
Yeah, no, I do with the manager as well. That's not a vote of confidence.
Yeah.
You know, he's a title winner. You know, they're having a bad moment, but like, you know, work harder, do whatever needs to be done. You know what I mean? Change it up.
Yeah.
And look, it's I always say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah. They get paid the big bucks to figure out what to change.
Yeah, exactly. That applies to football managers.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so there we go. So there's the two of them. So we got the England game on next.
Yeah, so we're recording before the England game. So we just had the France game as we came into it.
I'm concerned. I said to my missus, she's very excited, and I said, "Ooh, this is a potential. This is a Cameroon 1990 Roger Miller 3-2. I think that was with Lineker scoring 2 goals. England get through. Yeah. This could be one of them games that's going to be touch cloth with goals, a lot of goals.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm nervous before every single England game, but this isn't a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you look at it this way: they win, they're probably going home when they meet France. So you know, it's like this could be as good as it gets. So go out and give some. I just don't see England beating France. I hope I'm wrong.
No, we just watched the France-Poland game, and it's funny. I was doing my prep for this at halftime, and one of the things I wrote in my prep was: is Mbappe underrated or overrated? And then he scores 2 just amazing goals in the second half.
Be as good as he wants to be.
Yeah,
he can be sensational. What I want to see him do is do it in England or Spain. I don't rate the French league. I want to see him. He should be at his age playing for Madrid.
Yeah,
or playing for not Man fucking City, playing for Liverpool in the Premier League, because I think he would do what Thierry Henry did 5 times over.
Yeah,
in the Premier League, he is. I love him. My only concern with him is his whole game is based on pace.
Yeah,
I want to make sure those hamstrings stay healthy.
That's what while maybe the level of quality is not a good comparison, but you think about Michael Owen. As soon as he lost his pace, there was really not a lot left to him.
Yeah. So, but I love Mbappe. I do. And he's lighting up the England can beat France, by the way. Yes, Mbappe can hurt England. If Kyle Walker's fit, they'll have to play him to counter the pace. But I honestly think England, if they wanted to, and were on the offense instead of defensive minded, maybe could beat France. But Senegal.
It's one of those games. Yeah, if we did get through, it should have 4-4 written all over it, and it probably ends up 0-0 and going to penalties.
Let me tell you, France have got strength and depth. I don't like them defensively. Of course, out wide, they're Mbappe, Dembele, the other side, they're strong. Everyone knows about Giroud. Maguire should absolutely relish playing against Giroud. That's the kind of aerial battle he does well in. And then the French midfield aren't exactly full of goals. So you can neutralize them and hurt them the other way. No doubt in my mind, they can be hurt. So it'll be interesting. Brazil, for me, are going to win the World Cup comfortably.
Yeah, you're still standing by that.
I stand by that. Said it at the start. Say it again. Yeah. Argentina and Brazil.
We talked about Argentina. I think they've disappointed somewhat. Is Messi carrying them?
Awful. They've been awful. But I say that, and I've seen worse Argentina sides get to the final of World Cups. Yeah. So, when you say awful, and then you look at the defensive record, and you look over 40 games, how many goals and clean sheets they've had, and no goals conceded. They're tough to break down. Yes, Australia gave them a scare. But I just think as it goes later, would you fancy Argentina in a penalty shootout every day of the week? I would. Yeah. So I'm just like one of them where as it gets tighter and tighter. I still think Brazil, Argentina, they're your 2 outstanding, call-outs to win. There'll be no surprises outside of that.
Now, at the time we record, when we actually publish, all the round of 16 will be finished. But the time we record, the only next round, what it would be the quarterfinals, won't it? Yeah. Is Netherlands, Argentina. So your money is on Argentina for that one?
My money is on Argentina and penalties because I think it'll be 0-0. I think Netherlands obviously counter-attacking the way he's got them playing. Van Gaal, he's pissing the media off in Holland. I think it's boring, but it works. I think Argentina are so good defensively. I think it'll be neutralised. I don't think Messi's playing as well as everyone thinks. He scored a couple of goals, but I think he looks a yard off. Everyone's jizzing in their pants over him as usual on all the different networks, but I can see that being 0-0 or 1-1 in penalties. I do. And I think Argentina will win on penalties.
What do you make of the slightly off topic, the Messi to Inter Miami rumors? Messi coming to America?
Yeah, I've always said it's the graveyard, isn't it, for big time players. I think it would be a real shame for him if that's where he ends up going. Definitely. Like, you know, would I've liked to have seen him spend a year at Man City under Pep one more time, coming on as a sub, little cameo roles, you know, whatever else, playing in the Man City side 3-0 up, you know, already. Yeah, I'd have liked that. Inter Miami, do me a fucking favor. Well, Phil Neville's going to be his coach.
You may as well just give Messi all the jobs if you bring him to Miami.
I like Phil Neville and everything else, but I guess I guess what that is, it's an enterprise deal. I think he's getting a percentage of the club.
Yeah.
He's going to help their valuation. Yeah. And that's why they're making the deal happen. If it does happen, but again, I'm kind of like, you know, 2 years too soon. People of that ilk and quality should be gone out there when they're 39, 40, not when they're 35, 36.
Now, staying with the US, I have to say that, you know, in the last podcast, I talked down about the US and, you know, not necessarily wanting them to do well, but I actually really took to this US team. They feel like good young team. They don't have the arrogance of past American teams.
Yeah, needed a striker.
Yeah.
I tell you the two problems for the USA. I like the US team. I like the pressing. I like the style. They're very young, third youngest. I said to you in the podcast, they're going to be a threat 2026 home. I think they need a better coach. I think they need a number 9. And I think they need 2 better centre halves. This is like Dad's army back there. But I like everything else about their team. I like the energy. I love Adams in midfield. Yeah. I like the boy Aronson who comes off the bench. He should have been in the team. There's a lot to like about the US team. They're getting better. What they don't have is a number 9 who's a greedy motherfucker for goals. Because they miss so many chances, so many sitters. They rely on Pulisic.
Yeah.
You know, everything goes through him. That, you know, Way's not really that out and out number 9. There must be a 9 out there. I know the boy that went to West Brom was American. He got injured. Was it Dyke?
Yeah, Danny. He was at Barnsley as well, and was when Barnsley got in the playoffs.
Yeah, very effective. He's more of a target man, but he's a goal scorer. But they need 2 strikers coming into that squad in 4 years' time now have got goals in them, because they've got a great midfield. They've got good fullbacks. They've got pace, power. They've got Pulisic who can play in that hole, who can get them ticking. What they need is they need stronger centre half, and they need striker and a good manager. And I think they've got a hell of a fucking chance. Well, I mean, they could probably go and get a very good European-based coach to go in there and take them to the next level, my opinion.
And they just seem like good kids. I mean, they're like role models. Like you look at some of the England players and think the same.
I love the captain, how he dealt with that asshole journalist from Iran. He was trying to like throw in his face, you know, you come from a country and it's, you know, BLM and it's how they treat people. And he was really trying to bait the kid. And he's 24, Tyler Adams, 23, 24 captain. I thought he was magnificent the way he answered. Because remember I said in my podcast, or this power podcast, like 4 weeks ago, I feel sorry for some of the younger players that are going to get stuff thrown at them about corruption, politics, all the stuff going on in Qatar. And some of those young players are going to be so terrified of saying the wrong thing. It's very unfair to put that pressure on them, right? So when I saw that, I was flying over here. I thought, wow, well done, pal.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
I'd have fucking like, you know, you know me. I'd have fucking like buried that motherfucker. He'd have been on a plane back to Iran or whatever the way he wants to pronounce it. He'd been like, fucking get the fuck out of here. But no, he handled it really well. It was like, well done to him. No, I like him. There's a lot to like about them. I was rooting for them. You know, I class myself now as a bit of an American living in the States. Yeah, just a shame their pathway went that way. You know, who they were playing next and whatever else. And even against Holland at 2-1, they had a chance to equalise at 2-2. And the striker goes around the goalie and takes a 30 fucking yards.
Yeah, it's just a bad touch.
Better striker. It's 2-2.
Yeah.
Then Holland
was shit. They were their own worst enemy against Holland, because that was winnable. They put themselves in a position to win it.
100%. So, you know, there's a lot to like about them. There's a lot of players that will be so much better in 4 years. I think another 3 or 4 of them could end up in the Premier League, and look how better they become.
Yeah.
Can't have them playing in the MLS. Most of that squad, and 60% of them, have to be playing in Germany, in England, in Spain, in Italy. That's how America become a superpower at football.
Yeah, and you are seeing that more and more. I mean, you look at that squad, and a lot of that squad are now playing overseas. It's not your squad of 12 years ago, where everyone's playing in the MLS, and it's just the best of the MLS.
Correct. Hence why they look better.
Yeah.
And that's what they're missing. If they'd had a striker from RB Leipzig or a striker from fucking Arsenal or a striker from Liverpool, it was American, that's where they have a chance. So that's what they've got to do. The next batch coming out, they've got to find 4 or 5 more additions to that squad. And America I would fancy to get to the semi-finals of the final in America in 4 years.
Mhm.
Definitely, without a doubt.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Which would blow up the MLS big time.
And in the schools, it's been really nice to see the schools, at least locally where we are, get behind it as well.
All the NFL players, everyone. Sorry, carry on. Your kids.
Yeah, no, I was going to say our 9-year-old came home with homework on. I think it was before the Iran game, and the homework was basically pick the score, USA versus Iran. Pick two players that you want and their numbers. Do multiplication based on their numbers. But it's the first. It's actually been football's been acknowledged in schools, and everyone's really getting behind it. So I think this team really got a lot of the country behind them.
Growing sport, I wanted to open up like satellite academies for Peterborough in the States, because I think it would be great financial revenue for the club. And I just think it's because so many parents pay $6-7 grand a year for soccer camps. Mm-hmm. And I think we could run our own soccer camps out in the USA and make a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? So it should be good for our club and also for talent in the USA. But it's growing and growing and growing. So look, good luck to them. I think, there's a lot of stuff to be optimistic about. Last 16 in the world, they're ranked 15th. I think they could be top 10 ranking by the time that comes around.
Yeah. So let's wrap up on your highlight of the tournament so far.
Highlight of the tournament so far would be just trying to think. I probably enjoyed watching Brazil in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
The goals from Richarlison, there was on Thanksgiving, the overhead kick or whatever else. Seeing Mbappe obviously do his business for France. Some of the surprises in the games, obviously the bigger teams going home like Belgium.
Yeah.
Who else? Uruguay obviously went home. The group games the other night between was it Spain, Japan, Germany.
Right, when Spain were out at one point.
At one point with 5-10 minutes to go, both Germany and Spain were out.
Yeah.
Which was just like I was messaging my missus going, can you fucking believe this group? Japan have probably been the highlight for me, the way they've acted, the way they've played, the way they're like fearless. They went and beat Spain. They came out in the second half to beat Germany. Mm-hmm. Imagine England beat Germany and Spain at the same World Cup.
Yeah.
When's that happened? Well, Japan have beaten Germany and Spain at the fucking World Cup. So who are they playing in the last 16, by the way?
Let's say Japan have got Croatia.
Okay.
Winnable.
You know what? Yeah, you fancy them. So, that's probably my highlight. What's your highlight?
From an individual, I love all the jeopardy in the groups that has happened, like the going backwards and forwards. It's not just been every group has been the top two you expect to win, 6 points going into the last game and all the groups are decided. The individual game that I've probably enjoyed the most was Argentina, Saudi Arabia, on that like second half turnaround. That kind of started the unexpected, the flurry of unexpected results,
and probably did Argentina a big favor.
Yeah, it probably woke them up.
They haven't lost in 40 games.
Mm-hmm.
It probably did a massive favor. Sometimes you need that, to get you going. So yeah, interesting. But no, it's been terrific. I've enjoyed watching it.
Yeah,
obviously everyone's still moaning about all the stuff off the pitch, but Jason's gone out there. He's there for the England game today.
I saw him looking happy with his England shirt on.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to hear his opinion and everything out there, what it's like. I think he wanted to stay in the fans' village in a tent, and I was like, you fucking mad, but his wife made him come to his senses, and he's booked into my hotel. So it's like, there's no way, imagine staying in a tent. So it'll be interesting. He's coming over next week, so it'll be interesting to see what his thoughts are. But listen, let's help England do the business. I'll have a happy wife. I'll have a happy podcast partner.
Yeah.
I'll have happy fans over here. Need some happiness in football.
All right, well, let's cross our fingers for kick off in 45 minutes or so. So we shall see soon. Because we didn't cover any questions or anything like that today, but do please keep them coming. Like Darragh said, we don't delete them or just put them in the trash or anything like that. We try and answer as much as we can, and nothing's off limits. So so send them in. You can do that just by DMing us as usual on Twitter, although now Elon Musk is probably going to read all of our DMs, so maybe you want to email them instead at contact@hardtruthfootball.com or via the website. So until next week, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.